Hello, Gemini. My name is Agatha, and this is the astrological reading for May 2016. The new moon is going to happen on the 6th of May at 16 degrees of Taurus, and the full moon is going to happen on the 21st of May at 1 degree of Sagittarius. In your case, Gemini, the new moon is going to happen on your 12th house, and it's going to be in very good aspect with Pluto. In Capricorn in the 8th house, and with Jupiter in the North Node in Virgo in the 4th house. So what does this mean to you, Gemini? The 12th house is connected with the spiritual, our spiritual life. It's also called, it's also connected with sacrificing, and it's also called the house of secrets. So maybe some sort of secret might come to light, and this secret might have to do with money, with something material, with funds and assets. I just thought something. Let's say that you, Gemini, you were hiding money and assets from your spouse. Because maybe not necessarily for a bad reason, but maybe you thought he or she spends way too much money. I better put, this away, like for a rainy day or something. Then your spouse finds out, and he or she is really mad at you. It could be that, or it could be that you encounter the soulmate, your soulmate. And this soulmate has the potential to change your entire life and your entire self. He or she brings transformation for you. You will be completely transformed because of this person. I don't know if, for some of you, not all, okay? And I don't know if this is a soulmate, the type of relationship that you're going to stay with, a person with whom you're going to stay for the rest of your life. It could be or not necessarily. Even if he or she doesn't stay with you, this person will bring with him or her a big transformation, and you will no longer be the same person. You will be spiritually more evolved. You will understand with this person that money and the material part of life isn't everything. That there's more to life than just that. Because there's two inconjunctions, which is an aspect of 150 degrees between the new moon and the Saturn in Sagittarius, and also between the Venus and in Taurus, and also the 12th house, and Saturn in the 7th house in Sagittarius. Because of this, if there is indeed a soulmate relationship, type of relationship that starts around the 6th of May for some of you, Gemini, there might be a different way of behaving and acting, and that way of different ways of being that might bring some sort of conflict. So one of you, I would say you would behave maybe in a more possessive sort of way, and also in a more conservative type of way. And your soulmate could be more open, and could be more impulsive, and could be not prejudiced, not the sort of person who's prejudiced, and that might clash. But if you try to adopt the other person's point of view, you could harmonize that energy. If you try to be more open and less conservative, if you try to be Gemini, if you are, again, this is for some, not all, for all of you, Gemini, you can be like a Gemini sun, but you can have like 3 or 4 planets in Taurus. So Gemini is not conservative. Gemini is really open and really wants to know about everything. It's really curious about people, about the world, about life, about everything. So Taurus is conservative. So you can have the sun in Gemini, but you can have like 2 planets in Taurus and 2 planets in Cancer, and that just changes completely your personality. So if there is indeed a soulmate type of relationship, you might behave in a more possessive way, some, not all, in a more conservative way, and maybe you should be more open and less possessive, and understand that the other person needs his or her freedom, and the other person might try to be a bit more reliable, and try to be a bit more stable, with you, or try to adopt a more stable type of attitude with you without losing the sense of his or her personal freedom, which is really important for a Sagittarius. I'm just giving like a general type of reading. Another way of reading this is that there's no soulmate, you are happily married, for instance, and you just suddenly have like a revelation, and you understand that money isn't everything, and there's more to life, that there's like a spiritual side to life, and you decide to put the money that you have, the resources that you have, the financial resources that you have, in the service of your spiritual development. So you might decide, I'm going to go to an ashram for like a month and meditate. I'm going to go to a spiritual retreat. It could be that, for instance. Or you could start reading about, this sort of subjects, esoterical and metaphysical subjects, about astrology, about the runes, about tarot, about the metaphysics, about stuff like that. And if you are happily married and your spouse might be a bit more conservative and might be a bit more skeptic, the way to go about this is not to try to impose your opinion. Okay, do not try to make him see or her see your way, and to understand that he or she has the right to his or her own opinion and has the right to be skeptical. Understand that. Okay? So the full moon is going to happen on the 1st degree of Sagittarius at 21st of May. And in your case, Gemini is going to be on the 7th house. So, there might be some sort of argument with your spouse or your long-term partner. Let's say you are that you were hiding assets and he or she finds out, and oh my god. Again, not because you wanted to, you just like were thinking in the future, about the future, and you just put that money away, and you could even forget about it, right? But he or she finds out and is really mad at you. Or let's say that you indeed did find your soulmate, and maybe you behaved in a very possessive sort of way, in a very closed-minded sort of way, and finally he or she is mad, and that's the source of the argument, of the big argument around the full moon, the 21st of May. Or another way of reading this is, this has nothing to do with you, it's something to do with your spouse. Let's say that he or she, there's some sort of events happening in his life or her life, let's say something to do with work, and something that comes to an end related to work, for instance. Not necessarily losing his job or her job, but maybe he or she had like duties connected with his job or her job, and those duties were taken away from him or her and given to someone else, and so that's the end and the culmination connected, for instance, his work or her work, that really makes him mad. So he used to do, or she used to do, this sort of thing, and now he can't, because there's a new boss, and the new boss changed the rules, or because the authorities within the company decided to change the rules. Or another way of reading this is that your spouse was assured that the contract, the job, there's a contract which he signed, the contract would be renewed So the contract to stay in this, let's say, company would be for like 2 years, and that's the contract is about to end, but he or she was told, oh, we're going to renew it, and then he or she finds out, no, we are not going to renew it. That's why he or she is so mad. Or let's say there's a new job he or she is starting, and your spouse was told a certain thing. Oh, I'm going to give you this and this and this. He's going yeah, and then he or she reads the contract and it's completely different. None of it is there. So they lied to him or her, and that's why he or she is mad. So there's something happening just with your spouse in his personal life, not connected to you. Could be connected with his family or her family life, or in his job or her job, and that's the source of irritation. And that's it, Gemini. This is the reading that I have for you for May 2016. This is a very general reading. If you'd like a private consultation, please send an email to duniazad@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. Bye bye.